So the video you're about to watch, I apologize in advance because my Apple wired earphones that you see me very clearly wearing in the video weren't connected to Riverside. So my audio is kind of shit, but the main bulk of the value of the video anyway isn't in how good my audio sounds. It's in the things that me and Louis are saying. So without further ado, I'll let you enjoy. I had to preface that because the audio is kind of bad. So I'm sorry.
Oh, I just saw the countdown.
We were just chatting shit at the beginning. Yo, what's going on, people? This is probably going to be on my YouTube, potentially Louis' YouTube as well. But basically, the long story short is that Louis has just come hot off the block and printed 130. Wait, what was the final cash collected?
From the actual webinar, I think it was around 120.
So
yeah, but then also there was sales coming in from other stuff, so it's kind of difficult to know exactly. But I think about 120.
So,
not for me.
Louis has just come in, obviously working on an offer, and spawned 120 grand out of thin air using none other than the thing that we love talking about most on this channel and the thing that I do all day every day, which is bloody webinars. So I gave Louis a little bit of a hand in the campaign, and I by no means want to take credit for that result at all.
I think we can make that a big hand in the campaign.
However, but we're both just being humble in it. However, what I wanted to do, right, is because when most people do case study interviews, they're kind of just like, what position would you have been in if you hadn't have worked with Webinar Wizards? But we thought we'd actually put you guys on some game. So Louis has a Miro board, basically explaining the funnel, how we did it, the presentation and everything like that. And so give us the highlights, right? So that's 120 cash, right?
Yeah, cash. I mean, we got a lot of piffs, as you can imagine off a webinar. We did get a lot of piffs. I would say Rev, I've still got to crunch the numbers. It was over a week ago and we still haven't really crunched the numbers because obviously we need to do that before the next one. But I would say like 150 Rev, maybe, like as an estimate. But yeah.
And for context, bro, you just chat some shit about like what you're doing on the offer, how long you've been working with the offer for, what the offer actually is.
Yeah, so it's a pretty standard like YouTube automation coaching offer, classic sort of B2C mentorship that has really good organic traffic. Actually, I wouldn't even say we had crazy organic traffic. We just had a big email list and we had a lot of leads and a lot of potential that hadn't been realized. And I think that's something you mention a lot, Charlie, is like, and something I feel about like with webinars is that they act sort of like hoovers in terms of a lot of leads knew we had the VSL funnel, had been on calls, or like the market is getting more sophisticated in the sense that leads don't want to get on like a sales call where they're going to get really trying hard closed by a closer. So yeah, webinar was super, super effective in terms of clearing up all of sort of that dead weight that we had inside of the pipeline that we hadn't sort of yet squeezed out. In terms of what I do on the offer, I do sales management and marketing, so sort of like a growth operator. I don't do everything, so I don't do any of the fulfillment side of things. I don't do any of the media buying, but I do all of the copy. And then obviously I pitched sort of doing a webinar after seeing, Charlie, what you had done. And turned out, yeah,
so
well.
The webinar was your idea?
Me and the offer owner had spoken about it for quite a while, and I saw it as like a huge opportunity considering sort of the level of lead flow we were getting through the VSL funnel, and sort of what was just left on the table, especially with an offer like this where there are a lot of questions, there are a lot of leads who are like, I suppose it comes back to sort of like being sort of skeptical of a VSL funnel, or they've booked in a call, and then like getting on a free class is completely different. Yes, they might expect a pitch at the end, but if you're going for value and you get a lot of value, you're going to stay for the pitch. And our retention was, I mean, obviously this is, I should probably start sharing my screen now.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you this Miro board.
So
I made this
just for context as well. Do you know your VSL funnel? Is it a VSL opt-in funnel with an opt-in page, or are you getting the leads from Typeform?
Typeform. So it's not like because we do get a lot of unqualified, like from organic, it isn't like for us to take opt-ins and then dial, it would just be a nightmare with the team.
That's interesting. So yeah, is that the only funnel and the main traffic source is?
Well, we get traffic from all over the place: YouTube, Instagram, X. We do run a DM funnel on X and Instagram, although there is the option to go onto the landing page as well. But a lot of traffic goes into the DMs because it is quite a strong personal brand. But yeah, this is sort of, well, first of all, let's do some proof, I would say.
Yeah.
So this is our payment processor. We did the webinar on the evening of the 24th. And then in the next 3 days after that, we did 120K. This is cash collected, right? Which is pretty nuts. Pretty nuts.
And bro, how much was the offer doing when you first took over, like on doing the sales management?
It was doing like 40K a month, and then August we did 260.
Fucking
260.
hell, man.
Yeah, it's.
Bro, I bet you're in Leo's good books this week.
Yeah, I mean, you would imagine, you'd hope so. Yeah, we've done well.
Yeah, but, so that's interesting. So let's start from the bottom, right? So how did you actually get people there? Because I know you mentioned email list, right? And on that point that you said about the email list, it is good to re-engage people because you kind of like, you get to re-engage them without just hustling the fuck out of them, and you kind of let them self-select and kind of put their hand up and say like, okay, I'm still interested in this. I just don't want to get on a call with someone who's going to hit me with a mad discovery again. Or I kind of just want to, be in a big crowd. You can kind of hide a little bit. You can get your information and then see if you're still for you.
Exactly. And we had like the big email list. We had all of those applicants from the Typeform, like over the past year or maybe 6 months before, we had like, quite a few thousand Typeform applications with emails in those. And we had a big Discord, a small Telegram, quite a good like small organic Instagram presence, and then obviously YouTube as well, which was probably the main driver. I think if you have a good long form YouTube presence, webinars really crush, like really crush, because they already are quite familiar with you. And when you're sort of packaging in the webinar, like the training portion, you're just packaging what's in the YouTube video into a more structured and more tailored format.
So where did you actually launch? Like, was it omnipresent? Like, you were like, right, we're going to announce the webinar at 6 p.m. and then you all just went onto the different channels and just popped off?
Yeah, essentially. Like, we sent the email first, and then like the rest was just like within a few minutes. So we sent all of the traffic to the reg page with a VSL, which obviously you helped with, and then just like sort of confirmation page. It was super basic. You can see like this is just made in GHL. Like my whole goal with the webinar was to keep things as simple as possible. We didn't need a crazy conversion in terms of like opt-in rate on the landing page because it was all organic. I knew that like people would be interested. It's the first time the creators ever run a webinar. I think if you're an offer owner who has never run a webinar before and you have a good organic presence or some really good ad data, it's like a no-brainer to run a webinar, like an absolute no-brainer, simply because you clear up all of that traffic. Even if you only run it once every 3 months, so just clear up the traffic. Once you've done it once, you can do it again and again and again. And I know Charlie redoes like webinars for every single one of his clients each time, but you could use a very similar webinar each time without too much issue if you do it like long enough. But of course, if you do one every week with the same organic traffic, it's going to peter up very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, bro, people like Joe Cardinal Mason and Ben Bader. I heard them talking on like a super underground podcast. Like, it wasn't an in-person podcast, but it was like a podcast they did time ago, and they basically ran like the same webinar, pretty much the same deck, same landing page. It was something insane, dude. It was something like October 2022 to November 2023. Basically every week for a year, and they weren't running ads to it. Mason was just like yapping on TikTok, but because his traffic was so insane, they just were getting thousands of signups a week. Definitely.
I think that's what Shelby does as well. Shelby's webinar is the same every week.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I mean, bro, if it's working, don't fix it. So we had the reg page, and the reg page was obviously headline, sub-headline, VSL,
sales letter, and then results. Like
sales letter,
so
and results.
so simple. And I think like that it could have been improved a lot. Like, this is one of the most, my design skills are pretty shit, but like it did the job. And I think the copy, and I think this is something you really drilled home on our first call that I hadn't realized. It's like the angle of the webinar and who you're targeting is way more important. Like the actual headline and what we were going to present on the webinar was more like the hook, you might say, was more important than anything else. I could have had the nicest looking site, could have had the best VSL in the world, but if no one was interested in what we were actually training them on, like it wouldn't have converted very well. So I think if I go and show you the numbers, we had I think just 1 hour before the webinar, we were at about 2,500 registrants. And then a lot of them came into the live room and then counted as registrants.
To be fair, bro, as well, a lot of them will probably be like duplicates from people putting different email addresses. So I imagine that your show up rate is probably more like 60% than it is 53.
Yeah. The show rate was weird though, because this was like, the peak concurrent viewers was about 1,100.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
when I joined, it was 1,100.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We ran some just like, these ad creatives weren't the one we used. This one was pretty bad, but it's the only example I still had in my folder. We ran reminder ads to all of the registrants. Just very simple creatives.
Yeah,
like,
bro, do you know what? I had that noted, right? Because that's something that I've never done before, which is obviously like we do the reminder ads, but explain to me how you went about actually like, were you just doing it with the pixel? Actually targeting the first world registrants, because it probably saves a lot on ad budget, doesn't it, rather than targeting everyone.
Exactly. So we did. We just created. Well, the media buyer created like. To be honest, I could have done it. It was super simple, but we just created like a custom audience with the emails that we had from the registrants,
Yeah.
and filtered the emails to like only the countries that we wanted based on the phone numbers that we had next to the emails.
Yeah.
Added them to a custom audience. Just ran this, and the click on the ad was just add the event to your calendar, which I think is something super interesting. We had the Google Calendar sort of. If I show you on the landing page, this. Add the masterclass to your calendar was really helpful, because when you add it to your calendar, when it's on their Google Calendar, it's like for this meeting, you get that notification sort of from your email for a lot of people, which
Bro,
does
it's
help
like a
the show.
double up. So then they're getting hit on. They're seeing you promoting organic. They're seeing the email. They're seeing the text message. They're seeing the WhatsApp, and they're also seeing it in their calendar as well. It basically makes it impossible for anybody to forget about it.
Exactly. And then this is something you help with like crazy as well, bro. So the email sequence before, like obviously what to put in the emails themselves, and actually how to build the workflow on GHL so that it works and it is at the right time and you don't get absolutely murked with the time zones. And then the WhatsApp sort of pre-call SOP. We had to make two groups. We had because WhatsApp groups are capped at 1,024 people.
Yeah.
We had like 1,700 contacts. So two.
Did
groups.
you not make a community?
I tried, bro. I tried to make a community, but it just...
You can't do it on WhatsApp Business.
There you go. We had to
Yeah.
use WhatsApp Business. And so for the future, sorting out, like, the only problem is the offer owner didn't want to leak his personal phone number for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to, like, put mine as his. So it sort of left us in a sticky situation.
Bro, do you know what is a good one to do? Is if someone is willing to give up their phone number, give it to a setter.
Ooh.
Give it to a setter, because then immediately they can just go back through the WhatsApp groups. But bro,
Oh
that's
yeah,
literally...
I put the setter on this account, by the way. And after
Oh,
the webinar,
yeah.
I put CTAs in the WhatsApp to message if you have any more questions.
Wow.
It crushed, bro.
Yeah, that's a spinner. Was the setter framed as Leo, or was he framed as a
Yeah,
setter?
no, because
Wow.
Leo was sending videos onto that WhatsApp from the same account, and then obviously they all thought 100% this is Leo, and it's even more strong than like an Instagram funnel where they think they're speaking to Leo, because I feel like
Yeah.
some people know about setters now, but
Yeah.
WhatsApp was a different game, bro.
Yeah,
Completely
that's
different
sick.
game.
So we got reg page confirmation. We know where the traffic was coming from. We know how we were getting them to show up, which was reminder ads, obviously emails, SMSs, WhatsApps.
WhatsApp.
And
That's pretty
what
much it.
about the actual presentation itself? Because I guess that's the next step before the follow-up. Because the follow-up is something I really want to get into, because
Yeah,
obviously you lean more on the sales side of things, whereas obviously with clients I lean a little bit more on the copy side of things. So yeah, let's talk webinar scripts. So obviously we went with fladlien.
oh, wow, who else? This was I think the biggest struggle for me as someone who has a sales background and very little like marketing background. The first draft of the webinar was pretty terrible, but in the end, like obviously been on call with you a couple of times and sort of getting your feedback on things, and also like there was just so many basic things, like just in terms of how it actually looks, seeing one that you had done, just in terms of like just like it's very simple things like font size, that just like you need to know, that can really affect the performance of a webinar. And I suppose like the actual framework for the webinar itself, that's even more important. I think something you mentioned.
Yeah, bro. That framework, honestly, like the thing is, there's so many. Like I know that when we were on that call with Dan Henry and A Players the other week, like
Yeah, bro.
obviously he's done his webinars, bro, and he's up there with. He's probably number 2 to fladlien, right? But I just find that whenever I deviate from that framework and I try and do something different, that it doesn't convert, or when I'm writing it, it just doesn't feel right. And I feel like just a big part of it is like, you can kind of get away with not being a copywriter writing a webinar if you just fucking stick to that framework and like the order that it's set in. Because it's almost like the inverse to a sales call, right? Where you kind of like, obviously on a sales call, you do the objection handling at the end. Whereas here, you do it at the beginning, and it kind of gets them a little bit more receptive to it. Because if someone has then gone ahead, if you've joined a webinar, and at the start of it, someone has like removed all of your objections, you're far more receptive to the training because you can actually imagine it working for you. So I feel like the framework just does so much of the heavy lifting.
And I think especially before like consulting with you, the first 5 minutes of the webinar are what is actually going to make someone watch the rest of the webinar. So getting those right, just getting everything right is like, you can't run a webinar with like, you could have everything else like this. You could have a dialed in sales team. You could have the best like marketing in the world. But if your webinar is shit, no one is going to be interested in buying from you, right?
I know, but I can't remember whether I said it to you on the call or whether I always just say to people, they're like, do you know when you're building the funnel and you're building the VSL and you're writing all the emails and you're setting up the WhatsApps and the automations and everything, and then you realise that, oh my God, we've put in all this effort literally just to get them to show up. Like, if you're the customer or you're the person joining the webinar, all you do in that process of setting it all up is you just click sign up.
Yeah.
And you don't even notice all the other shit that is coming in as well. Like, we put in all this effort literally just to get them to be on their screen at a certain time.
It's crazy. It is crazy, but to be honest, like without you, this would not have converted at all. Like it was so like when I tried to do it myself, even having some of your frameworks and stuff, not actually being on call with you and taking a look and actually getting like seeing some of your other stuff, it would have been so bad.
So how many slides did you end up doing in the end?
344 slides long. And you might think that's a very long time, but I think something else that I took from you is like, you want the webinar to be like a movie. You don't want it to be like, okay, 10 slides and then, so okay, for maybe B2B webinars that can work. Like if it's a very sophisticated audience that is warm, that already knows you, yeah, that can work. But especially in like a B2C market, we needed to make it action-packed and engaging for people to stay on. And this is our engagement chart. So we had, like I said,
bro.
Yeah, we had like 1,100 peak concurrent viewers, and then obviously we started pitching at about 1:10, 1 hour 10 minutes in, and then we ended the pitch. I think we had like 750 by the end of the pitch, and then as you can imagine, like okay, after the pitch we are sort of doing Q&A, and then I think we ended like 2 hours. It was a long webinar. It went on for like a little while longer probably than it should have.
Yeah. Bro,
what do you think of this data, bro? What do you think?
Bro, I think, you commanded the attention on average of 1,500 people for an hour and a half, and most people can't even make it. Bro, if you think about a reel, right? And this is one thing when obviously, a lot of people think this, right? Which is like, oh, if I do a webinar, no one's going to watch it, right? Oh, their attention spans are too cooked and whatever, but it's the same kind of example that people say where it's like, oh, someone who won't watch a 30-second reel will watch a 4-hour film on Netflix, right? So it's not necessarily the fact that it's not necessarily to do with the person, it's to do with the media. And to have an average watch time of an hour and a half.
That's crazy. That is actually crazy.
And to have an average watch time of an hour and a half between like what? How old are the target market for this offer? Like anywhere from 18 to 28?
Older, 18, like this is actually like 18 to 50, I would say. We do get a lot of older people for the offer as well, but they're also little kids. Like there's also like, this is the third one. Like we didn't have, if we had 1,000 active, like all qualified, we would have made so much more money. But yeah, like because it was organic, it was kind of
it is the game, man. But bro, that's one of the things as well. Why for Callum's upcoming webinar, what we're actually going to do is we're actually going to change over to Zoom, because the time limit on Zoom is infinite. So
it's going to be longer than 4 hours.
So you can go for as long as you need to go for. Like, Joe and fladlien and stuff, because this is the thing, right?
Did you see Serge Guattari's 6-hour webinar?
I did, bro, but this is the thing, right? all the guys who are obviously like me doing webinars and you doing webinars, right? We've got to look at the guys who are doing it to the highest impact, right? So do you know when Fladlien and Iman did the last challenge, they did 10 mil prof in 72 hours, right? So they
Is that from their like 1.5k ticket offer?
Yeah. So they actually did a 5-day challenge, which is essentially just a sequence of webinars, and they pitched on day 2 and then did another 15 hours worth of pitching. So, and I'm looking at Fladlien and I'm looking at Surge, right, and I'm thinking, it's almost like in an email, right? I think about when you're writing an email, if you put the call to action, let's say that everyone who advocates for short emails says that you should put the CTA after 100 words, right? You can put the CTA after 100 words and then go and write another 400 words, and there's no disadvantage to doing so because you've still got the CTA in there. So I kind of see it as like, you know, once you made an offer on a webinar, a lot of people's first reaction is to be like, I don't want this. But the longer you go, the more people who start to say yes, 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 right? Bro, you had 400 people on there after 2.5 hours. Most people can't even get 400 people in the room at all.
Yeah.
So if you had gone for another hour and a half, who knows? Even if just 5 of them, even if just 5 out of the 500 ended up booking a call and paying, bro, it's still an extra 25k. So that's why I'm making the switch over to Zoom. But that on the engagement side of things is crazy, bro.
The only thing I don't like about Zoom is that you just don't get this stuff here.
I'm pretty sure you can get it.
You can get, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Like to
sure
the same
you
degree?
can. Yeah,
Wow,
bro, I'm
okay.
pretty sure. They have like a Zoom dashboard section that I saw.
Oh, I'm so clueless, bro. This is why you need to work with Charlie.
But they also have a map as well on Zoom. So you can actually see live on the webinar, if you go into the dashboard, where the viewers are from, almost like a heat map of the world. So you can obviously see, right, obviously if your ads are cooked and you've just got a bunch of people in countries that aren't conducive to PIFs on the webinar, then you might be like, oh God. But if you can look at it and be like, right, I've actually got a good audience here. So that's a pretty cool thing as well. So talk to me about the bonuses and the discount and the urgency at the end.
So it was pretty standard. We should have done more bonuses. We only had a few, but they were all really, really good. So, like, to be honest, the normal offer price was 5k. And basically we just took apart things that were normally in the offer and just framed them as bonuses, as you do, right? Because there was a couple of things. There was one thing that we added on top just for the webinar, but like we just took things that were like really big selling points to the offer that weren't part of the standard like course community, coaching, and just framed them as bonuses. And this is crazy, actually. I'm gonna find it. So yeah, this was a lead that I had actually spoken to when I closed for this offer back in April. I said this in my YouTube video. Like the last follow up I did with her was in June. And she just completely had. She was like a lost lead. Like we was much was lost. I had done plenty of follow-ups before this, and there was just nothing going. And then I saw that she registered for the masterclass because she was still on the email list. She was still probably checking out the content. And I said, I didn't like pressure or anything. I was like, enjoy the masterclass. I knew what I had cooked up. I was confident.
Yeah, bro, that's a banger. Bro, I need to implement that. Holy shit.
Like, because I was looking out for leads. And also what I told the whole sales team, every single lead that we've spoken to for the past month, no matter if they were airing us, no matter if they were close to closing, no matter what we were sending them, Leo's doing a free masterclass, sign up.
Wow, and you were doing that manually?
Well, we were just doing it to the best leads, like the ones, like, how else can you do that other than a manual SMS or a manual WhatsApp from a real person that the leads had already spoken to is going to do more wonders than an automated email that is probably landing in the junk half the time. Like,
blue SMS as well.
Of course, bro. If this was from my personal number, like, this was someone that I had spoken to as a lead. And then so the masterclass was at 6 p.m. UK time, so an hour and 45 minutes in. I saw she booked in with another closer. Asked her if she liked to bypass the call because we framed the call as more of an interview to let them into the program. So this is the reaction, bro. This literally.
Oh my god! And what did she literally just
booked in the next day, and then that was the next day. I let her on a split pay when I shouldn't, so it was 5k rev. But
bro, it's 5k that was in the bin. You know, what I mean?
There you go.
It's 5K that no one was seeing.
That's what I mean by I did put the Fortnite revive. 'Cause like, this is someone who's come back from the dead. It's literally like a hoovering process for these leads that they're still interested, but they know, like, if I'd reached out to her on the same day in August saying, hey, you know, how's it going? She's like, oh, he's trying to sell me.
Yeah.
He's trying to sell me. And the reason I mention this now is because one of the bonuses that we implemented was she actually told me on the follow-up, on the call that I had with her, like, that is what tipped me over the line. Like, that is what made me think, like, that's going to really help me. So...
Out of curiosity, what was the bonus?
So the bonus was just like a done-for-you service for niche. And I know you got a bit of familiarity with YouTube automation, but niche is a thing that a lot of people struggle with. So it's almost like you saying, I'm going to do done-for-you. I'm going to build all of the back end for the webinar. So I'm going to do done-for-you. Like, and it removes all that headache. Yeah. So it was a really, really good bonus.
And how did you maneuver the scarcity and the urgency segments, right? Because you used to be able to just get away with being like, haha, there's 20 spots left and you've got to get them by tonight. Yeah. But what I've increasingly found, and what you've probably done here, is tied legitimate scarcity and legitimate urgency to a bonus.
Exactly. So we said there was a bonus and a discount. And normally, like, I'm pretty wary of discounts, but we decided to just go for it because I think that really does increase scarcity and is realistic. We were saying, because you guys, you know, have joined the masterclass, bonuses and discount, and these, like, when the spaces go, like, we actually framed it, and I think this is what a lot of people can learn. People are very familiar with this, like, scarcity and urgency. Like, they know some of it's bullshit. They know that if they throw your credit card, you're going to take it. But we said, look, like, the program is actually like a one-to-one program with direct coaching. So we're like, we only have a limited number of spaces, which we do. Like, we couldn't onboard like 50 people. We couldn't. Yeah. We just couldn't. The team couldn't take it. So once we are full, these bonuses and this discount will go. And like we just said, look at the number of people that are on this webinar. Can you imagine how quickly they're going to go? Yeah. So you better be quick. And that was basically like most of it.
Yeah, bro, it's so easy to do. Even if it's just like a one-to-one coaching program, the classic is just, or the classic one that I always go to if the offer doesn't have much pizzazz and we've not put the back work in, it's just like, right, usually there's a one-to-one element in there, and I'll just bang a screenshot of the offer owner's calendar on there and be like, this is the amount of time I currently have available in my days, still servicing current clients to the best of my ability. And obviously if you can see that they've got 3 free spaces on Monday, 2 free spaces on Tuesday, then it's like, okay, I can visually see this. I can see why there is the urgency.
Another way you can do it is with the closers calendar. You can say, like, my team only have like 8 slots here, and you can see they're already, half of them are already full.
Yeah, amazing. And you got an ex-student on the call.
Yeah, that was pretty lucky that he could make it, to be honest. Like, we tried our best to get like some. This is actually one of the coaches inside the programs too, and he crushed, bro. He handled all the objections. He loves us because the programs are really good.
Did you compensate him at all?
That was I told the offer owner to he offered to do it for free, and I told Leo to, like, yeah, you should probably pay him if he wants to be paid for it. But I'm not sure.
I I mean, bro, if you can
he wasn't paid to say anything.
Yeah, bro, if the program is that good, like we've gotten people to do that before, where we've said to them, like, would you mind coming on and saying a few words? And bro, they actually want to.
Exactly.
Because if you've been in a program and you've done well, it's almost like it's quite nice. It's nice to be asked. You know what I mean? It's very nice to be asked, and it's also nice to, like, genuinely, because you know, if you've been in a program, you know what the audience is thinking. And it's almost like you're pleading to them and you're being like...
Oh, my days. Yeah. He was handling objections for us. It was like, you know, if you're thinking that it's a risk, you know, it's always going to be a difficult step. I was like, it was perfect. And he really helped. Like, yeah, really. Bro, he only came in right at the end, but it was good.
So here's the thing that I really, really want to know, right? Because this is a lot of the things that I feel like, obviously me not being the sales guy, and us doing pretty much everything, and then just the offer owner has their sales team, and we just leverage their existing sales team. I think this is the thing that, bro, how much cash do you reckon you pulled out from the follow-ups?
I would say it was, like, the webinar itself was really good in terms of conversion. I'm actually going to show you this, because, like, the sales, like, system, there was a few things we changed that I had to onboard closers and setters really quickly. I think that's what I excel in, like, making sure, like, we can have good sales reps quickly. So yeah, that was super important because obviously we had to have temporary reps because we knew it was going to be big, and I think I sort of did it quite perfectly with the number of reps that we had. I think someone's calling me. The number of like the SDR order of importance, just like sort of the SOP on how we were going to do things. This I think just got from you really. Like I think, okay, the talent of the SDRs, like the training on the SDRs, I did, but you really helped with like making sure that we had a structure to this. So making sure we triage the book leads first. And follow the SOP that we have, and then call the applications that didn't book, and then call the attendees, and then even go on to calling people that no showed. For us, we didn't go on to calling people that no showed because we had just so many. But we did everything else, and it crushed. Like we probably pulled out like another 20-30% just from the follow-ups in terms of booked calls, and 30% cash as well on what we did. But I think.
Yeah, talk to me about this part with your calendar as well. So I found this part interesting where you changed the Calendly, the timings on it, the graphic below.
Yeah, so we changed it. We did 30-minute calls with a 15-minute buffer. So the prospects thought they were actually called. So the Calendly name was enrollment call. Like, wow. So these this is sort of, we had a 70+% close rate on the webinar initial bookings.
Yeah.
And like this is closer notes. He committed without any hesitation. Felt like two good friends talking. Hope he crushed it with the program. No
objections. None.
And when I tell you, I think this call started at 10:30. Like these calls, we were getting pissed within 10 minutes. Like we were having people on. So we were triaging people, and we were getting people saying like how do I start? Like we could have closed them on the triage call.
Wow.
So yeah, complete layups. I think another thing, I don't show it on here. No, I don't show it. But on our Calendly, we actually had a question which was like, first of all, the capital question, and then how ready are you to get started? 100% ready, 80% ready, 50% ready. That really helped because something I got from you as well was like, you don't want any people who aren't pretty much ready to go on that first day, on that sort of second day after the webinar.
Yeah. I mean, bro, I got that from Serge Guattari.
Really?
He said that he basically gets his closers to imagine, let's say you had 2 closers, and although at the time it might seem like a risky move, but what he'll do is the day after the webinar, 2 days after the webinar, sorry, the day 1, day 2, is that if there are any calls that have come from the call funnel, they will actually reschedule them. So at the time of the webinar, there are 0 calls on the closers' calendars, which means that any meetings that then get booked in are 100% webinar leads, and they are 100% people who've actually said on the form that they are ready to pay. So if there's any, let's say you had 3 calls booked per closer on each day, they'll move them and they'll take the risk of moving them because they know that the people who book in for the webinar are 100% gonna pay something.
Yeah, and the fact that we I had questions from like other people in the space who do sort of growth operating. Were like, you price dropped on the webinar, you price dropped a 5K offer, because I think in the sales space, like, I think a lot of people are like, oh, if a lead hears the price, they're not going to buy. They're going to be scared. They're going to run away. But the thing is, for someone to give you 5K, they're going to need to know that it's 5K eventually. And I think doing it, and I have to give a lot of credit to the offer owner. He was very, very good at presenting. Very, very good. Very, very, very good. And he was like, you just have to have that confidence about it in B2C and make sure like the price is the price for a reason. And actually when you do it that way, and there's no pressure, like there is absolutely no pressure for someone watching a B2C webinar. You literally sat in your room, you're not on a call with anyone, you don't have a closer pressuring you. You are taking the active decision to say, you're basically selling yourself.
Yeah.
On it.
Bro, do you know, you having price dropped and had the result that you have had, that has now, I'm doing it on every webinar. I'm gonna do it on every webinar. I'm gonna tell them the price regardless if it's a call booking or not. Because bro, the fact that obviously we ran it through the Webby calculator, and I didn't realise when I messaged you afterwards, and I was like, "How many calls did you book in?" And it was like pretty much to a T. And then you were like, "They all know the price," and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Because that basically means that you got the. Like, bro, if you had a book, like, how many calls did you book on the webinar? Was it like 47 or something?
No. So we had 90 created events over the 3 days. 30 were cancelled either due to disqualification or like double bookings or rescheduled.
Yeah.
I know from my counting, we had about 55 booked on just like directly after the webinar, and we
Yeah.
had more bookings come in after I'll go into like sort of the follow up process, but I think around 55 we had 300 applications on the type form that we had, and the type form was pretty long. The type form was pretty hefty.
Did you put a partial submit in the type form at any point, or was it?
Yeah, we did the partial submit after the capital.
Yeah.
Because like some people will go onto this page of the type form and not book
And they just
because
won't
they don't have
book in.
times or whatever. So we captured that. But to be honest, like capturing here, like yeah, we could have, but
I mean, bro,
there
it
was
paid
so
off.
many leads.
Because that's the thing, man. Like, that's the thing with the price drop. That having seen you do this, like the difference in even just let's say the moment the webinar ends, right, and you call the offer owner, the difference between having 50 booked calls who all know the price, right? If you have 50 booked calls who all know the price, bro, you know for a 100% certain fact that you are making serious dough.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just have 50 calls booked, obviously you're still going to make dough. But then I almost feel like you hand a lot of responsibility and pressure over to the closers.
100%. So we actually, the closer commission was less than 10% for this because literally it could have been 3%, and they would have still taken the calls because they were all like the closers were literally there, answered like any questions. You do need the closers. You do need a call. Realistic. I mean, there would have been people that bought without a call, 100% if we put a checkout link on the webinar, but there's people who need their questions answered, right? And they want to speak to you before starting. One mistake we did make was, so we had the 5K offer, but we also do really well with our downsell, which is like a 2K offer, which is more like do it yourself. We mentioned this on the webinar, even put it into the slides, but we didn't drop the price. And the reason that was a mistake was because so many people afterwards were like, what's the price of the DIY? What's the price of the DIY? What's the price of the DIY? And actually, if you don't drop the price on a webinar, like what I realized is that the Q&A will just be, what's the price?
What's the price?
What's the price? And by not mentioning the price, you're putting people off because they're like, oh, this is either like super, super expensive. And although it is going to be expensive either way.
Why are they not telling me the price?
It is like, why? Yeah, why? Because they're going to know the price eventually. And if they don't want to, there are people who knew the price, booked a call and didn't close. Because like you've got people are people at the end of the day, and sales is definitely a people thing. No one is going to be like, maybe one out of 100 people can be just pressured on a call into buying, but who would want to work with a client like that? That's going to result in chargebacks. That's why I don't like. I'm a closer. I manage closing teams, but my philosophy with closing is completely different. It's a person-to-person conversation, and I feel like webinars do that really well. There's no pressure. There's no like hard selling involved. Yes, you have to be a very good marketer to be able to get someone to sell themselves. But I think that's the beauty of it, right? And
Yeah, right. Let's talk follow up, and then I'll let you get on and answer these bloody phone calls.
No, I don't know why I'm getting mailed up. So yeah, this is your help with. Well, I also have a friend, Freddie, who's amazing with Zapier. I'm a clueless with Zapier, so your help and his was definitely needed. So we just set up like a Zapier automation to separate attendees and non-attendees on our CRM, and then send these email flows basically to them. So we were offering the replay, and the replay I whacked on like a quick landing page like this, like you told me to, with an admittedly fake countdown that kept resetting like every 12 hours.
How long was the countdown?
Just like 48 hours, and it reset every 24 hours. So like it was just always it was just like always like a few days. There's only
it's a good idea that I need to implement that.
Yeah, and then we just had like we made it unskippable. But I also trimmed it so that it started at the right time, like when the training, when the intro of the webinar was starting. Made it unskippable. Put it on Wistia, pretty simple. And I made it like a tweet. Like we just got 400 leads that wanted the replay. The webinar is an asset. We offered it basically everywhere, and then we were still getting bookings and applications from the webinar like a few days after, like 3-4 days after from the replay.
Bro, the tweet is that's a fire idea. Bro, this is what I mean, bro. You brought a lot of stuff to the table, like with the webinar, that I have never done before, and never like, bro. I didn't even know you did the tweet.
No, the tweet
Mad,
banged,
bro, that's
sorry. The
another
tweet banged. And no,
400 leads.
oh, bro, no, this went to like 450, and we did a couple more that were like, people like really wanted the replay, really wanted it, because it's like, oh, this happened, I missed it. I fear it, like FOMO. It's huge, and that not only generated leads because we send them, but like we send them the DM setter sends them the link and then asks them like, hey, did you watch it? You know, and it carries on the conversation, and it's almost like an inbound to any sort of lead magnet. And then they get nurtured by the webinar as well, so it's even better.
And do you have the? Did you take a look at the Wistia stats on the replay and just see like how many people actually?
Obviously the retention was kind of low, but we had like 1,600 views.
I mean, bro, even if like it's at least like showing interest.
Exactly. And we were getting bookings from this. We offered the replay in WhatsApp, and then like I said at the start, we had a DM setter on the WhatsApp. So basically, you know. We've had a crazy number of people apply. We're almost full. I'm extending the discount, the bonuses to anyone who applies, and then you know any questions, DM me.
The fucking
WhatsApp,
the Pakistan flag on the reaction.
Bro, like on the WhatsApp, there's a few things you need to know. Like, don't let anyone else message, like ever.
Yeah.
And then, but just then, like we had 20 DMs to the offer owner saying, like,
bro,
"Oh, I hate this question."
Did you ever read Lord of the Flies in school for
No,
English?
sorry, that was the other English class did that one. We didn't do that one.
Bro. It's just like those webinar group chats. I've seen it when people have let people message, and I just think, it's just, bro, it's chaos. It's
even the offer owner's DMs was chaos because people were like, oh, I can just message the offer owner like, oh my god, ask them whatever I want. Like, people are so entitled. That's crazy.
I know, but bro, honestly, like, I'm trying to think if there's anything we haven't covered. I mean, next steps for you, like, how do you see yourself taking this now?
Well, this is a crazy case study, so I feel like it's obviously running organic webinars is lovely because as long as you know, I knew what I was doing because of you, but like I was this is like the first proper webinar I've run, right? And to get this result, I'm not going to take all the credit. It was an amazing offer and it had an amazing organic audience. But I suppose if I can find more like people to run them for, that'd be great. But in terms of this offer specifically, we're planning to run them probably every 6 weeks, every 2 months.
Yeah.
And then like every single time, just do more and more paid. Because we didn't have much time. Like the data on the paid was just, we spent 1.6, 300 leads, like about $5 cost per lead. I think we got 2 closes, like from so we got like a RAS of like 3.
Do you know what your usual cost per lead is on this offer?
We'd never run ads. So this was the first time we'd ever ran ads for the offer.
Wow.
So we were very much, we didn't have we had a very short time frame. Like the creatives were very, very basic, all statics. We didn't really have much time to experiment. But to be honest, like we got a decent ROAS, and in the future, actually, to be honest, the show rate was pretty abysmal on the ads. It's something we noticed afterwards, after looking at the data. So that's definitely something for the next one. Something you mentioned to me is the WhatsApp plugin on GHL, sending a personal WhatsApp. We couldn't, I think for some webinars, you can do that with a VA or the setter. If it's like a small webinar, you can actually manually go out and message everyone. But for 1,700 people, or how many registrants, we couldn't, because we had the WhatsApp business account wasn't US based, we couldn't automate it through GHL.
Because the WhatsApp account was US based, we couldn't automate it through GHL.
It wasn't US based.
Oh.
So we couldn't connect it, and so we couldn't do that like automated like WhatsApp stuff. Bro, I saw Daniel Bitten's webinar, and he was sending blue SMSs with videos, with follow-ups. His like that sort of process, if we did that, I think show rate on cold would have been a lot better.
Yeah, bro, cold's a different, like, we're at the moment, when you do go to cold, we're putting together, so one of my boys who we had on the pod is called Mache. He's done like 40 mil in info. He lives in London, but he's a super underground guy.
Wow,
but he was like a growth operator before. He was like, do you know how Ben Bader was like a growth operator before growth operators were a thing? He was like that. And his webinar funnel, which we're doing for Callum now, is free sign up. And then they get a low ticket offer, which is framed as a come prepared offer to
like
try and liquidate the ad spend.
Ticket.
VIP ticket type thing. But then there's a few reasons for that, right? So obviously if they consume the low ticket, consumption is higher, the leads are more educated, and when they get on the webinar, it's not as much of like an education, but it's more of a clarification. So you have the consumption side of things. You obviously are liquidating your ad spend by having the low ticket offers. You can then spend more on ads, and you're also optimizing the pixel for buyers.
Ooh.
So
see, ads are a foreign game to me, like pixel stuff. Like we obviously had a media buyer, which was great, but like, yeah, there's something I need to learn.
yeah,
definitely.
bro, same here. But that's the kind of things where like you can really start to like if you want to take a webinar to call it was like what Dan Henry was saying to us in it, and he was like, "This is organic traffic, man. Your webinar is never going to convert at this rate if you do it again." He's probably right. But then there's also like the fladlien side of things. But I remember someone saying to fladlien like, "How do you sell to cold traffic?" And he was like, "You warm them up."
Ooh, yeah.
Don't try and sell to cold traffic. And I feel like that low ticket offer then hits all of those things. So like obviously, if we frame it as a come prepared offer, then they are going to consume it. And then they're warm traffic, and now they know you, and now they know the offer, and now they know their problems, and it just gives you a bit more leeway. But bro, I'm excited to see where you take it. Any final words? Because I know that we've been on for 45 minutes now, so I hope YouTube is grateful for the fact that we've not just done some bullshit case study.
No, this is. I feel like the final thing I have to say is that webinars are definitely huge, and if you have a VSL funnel, if you've never done one, you've got to do one. Whether you're a growth operator, whether you are an offer owner, and I think Charlie is definitely one of the best in the game. So.
Nah, I really appreciate you, bro. To be fair, I've actually had, I don't know if you've had it as well, but bare people in A players have probably seen that, and I've been getting a few messages from them just being like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
bro,
I've had so many messages, so many. Like, I've even had people that are like, I've basically told them, yeah, I can consult with you guys. Yeah, I can consult with you. Basically, just using what I know from this, and I'm like, I can't help you guys with ads. Our ad spend was like nothing, and I can't help you guys with if you have no like organic audience. But if you have an organic audience, I can tell you what I know.
Yeah.
Or I send them to Charlie, who is when Charlie has his done with you offer. It's going to be over.
Bro, I do need to put it together. But bro, this the thing. It's just like you just learn so much by actually doing it, and the thing is, it's just like I don't know if I'd be able to record modules for it. I think what I would have to do is put it in like docs so I can actually update them. Because even now, like the biggest thing that I have taken away from your webinar, bro, is the fact that you price dropped 5k on a B2C offer, and they
we price dropped 6k and did a 1k discount. So yeah.
Bro, like, you price dropped 6k on a B2C offer, and you still booked so many calls. So, bro, it's just like a constant process of learning.
I think you said it on your video. Like, I think you said it, like, price drop, like, I got an application to book a call. And then I think I watched something else, and it was like, I was just set on price dropping. I was like, what's the point of withholding the price? Because I knew that if we didn't price drop, the only thing people would be asking is like, what's the price? So
yeah. Well, bro, fucking big case study. I hope everyone who's made it to this point has found this valuable, right? Because this is not a normal case study. No. Bro, I'm gassed for you. We'll get this out, and Louis, I'll leave all your links and what. I don't know, bro. Do you have like a landing page for your sales agency or anything like that?
No, bro. It's just my Instagram, and my Instagram's got nothing on it. But hopefully, by the time this video is out, I'm building the personal brand. I've been focused on the results. I've been working hard. But I've got YouTube, so actually this Miro board is obviously from my YouTube video. So if you want to hear me basically say everything I've said now again, you can watch
now, to be fair, I do feel like you went into more in depth though about like what you actually put in the emails and everything like that. But I feel like if someone's watching this, then they just want to be like, how the fuck did this happen? So
yeah. It's crazy. Hopefully we clickbait the title with like 120k or something.
Yeah, I will.
We need to do.
Right, bro. I'll let you shoot off. Thank you for doing this, and bro, congrats on the mad result. I mean, how much you built the client a nice little bit of dough this month, didn't you?
Yeah, it was crazy. So I'm invoicing the client for this month. This isn't only from the webinar, but I'm invoicing like 26k, which is crazy. Like that is obviously from one client. Obviously, to be honest, it's like, it kind of seems great. From one client you made 25k, but like that is my one client basically that I'm working with. Pretty much. Yeah. There's a few others, but like,
it's 25 bags landed in the Percy account, bro. It's insane. So, bro, I'm super happy for you.
I can't thank Charlie enough. And if anyone is still watching this and hasn't booked a call with Charlie, if you want to run webinars, I mean, I'm happy to give advice, but if you want the best done for you service in the world, then Charlie.
Yeah,
Charlie's the way to
we're
go.
doubling down on the dumb for you. Bro, thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording. Motherfuckers, newsletter, book a call, Louis stuff all below. See you soon.
Yeah. Oh.
Bro, Riverside is clean.
Is it, bro? I don't even know.
Bro, it's can you see